Let me guess. Your kitchen pantry looks like the supplement aisle at Sprouts. You've got gummies for sleep, teas for stress, and a half-empty bottle of some adaptogen you saw on TikTok but can never quite remember to take. Oh, and let's not forget the hormone-friendly protein bars that taste like cardboard and cost $5 each. Nearly 85% of us in total spend more than $10 billion with the B, dollars a year trying to fix our perimenopause and menopause symptoms. And yet, we're still tired, still moody, and still wondering what the heck happened to our metabolism. It's like we're stuck in this never-ending cycle of trial and error, when all we really want to do is just make it through a trip to Target without breaking into a full-body sweat. The reality is, most of us are struggling. Between sifting through conflicting advice, drowning in endless options, and feeling more frustrated than ever because nothing seems to work, at least not very well, we're wasting time, money, and energy on things that promise results but never quite deliver. What if I told you there's another way? A way to balance your hormones naturally, without medication or synthetic hormones, by working with your body instead of against it. In this week's episode, I am breaking down my exact 3-step system that will help you ditch the fatigue, the mood swings, and the extra weight so you can finally start feeling like you again. So grab your notepad and put your phone on Do Not Disturb, because we're going to get super tactical in this episode.
Welcome to Are You There, Midlife? It's me, Monica. Hi, I'm Monica Topetti, wife, mom, health coach, and hormone imbalance survivor. And I'm on a mission to help women in midlife balance hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce. Are you tired of dealing with heavy, painful periods that look like a crime scene? Are you sick of struggling with anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog that... What was I just saying? Are you frustrated doing all the things to lose weight but still packing on pounds faster than a real housewife changes Birkins? Girl, you are in the right place. Join me each week as I spill the tea on what to expect in perimenopause and beyond. From IBS to insomnia, bloating to funky body odor, I'll unpack all the weird stuff happening inside our midlife bodies, plus give you the latest science and holistic solutions to manage it all. So ditch the Spanx and hop on board the Hot Mess Express. Let's do this.
Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the show. So before we get into it, I wanted to share something with you that you can do right now if you're dealing with crazy up and down hormones and need some help figuring it all out. I'm talking about my free hormone symptom profile assessment, of course. If you haven't taken my assessment yet, go ahead and head on over to bit.ly/takemyhormone-quiz. Go ahead, pause this podcast. I'll be here waiting for you. You're going to want to do this if you haven't taken it yet because it's a total game changer. First, it's going to tell you whether you truly have a hormone imbalance. Forget what your blood work says, because this assessment evaluates your symptoms, not some arbitrary number that changes literally every day in your cycle. Second, it's going to tell you exactly which of your hormones are out of balance, so you can start focusing on a solution that is right for you. Again, this assessment, totally free. And more than 1,300 women have already taken this first step to learn how to balance hormones naturally. So go to bit.ly/takemyhormone-quiz or just click the link in today's show notes. Okay, so have you ever felt like you've been completely misled by some so-called expert advice on hormones? I mean, seriously. How are we supposed to figure out this whole perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause thing when one expert says, eat more protein, another swears by go vegan, And yet another one tells you, try keto. Right, because the real problem is that I just haven't eaten enough butter today. And speaking of experts, that would be our doctors, right? I mean, I know as soon as I started to notice things going a little wonky with my period, that's the first person I called for advice. You too? It started with my period acting up. And maybe you've noticed yours has been maybe a little heavier than normal, or maybe you've missed a month or two, or maybe you've had 2 periods in 1 month. And now your cycle is about as predictable as cell service in an underground parking garage. And yeah, maybe you've been a little moodier than normal, like that time you almost cried because your husband loaded the dishwasher wrong, or you full-on rage texted your mobile groomer for forgetting to put a bow on your fur baby. So you book an appointment with your doctor, and after a 5-minute chat and some lab work, it comes back totally normal. She hands us a prescription for Xanax, HRT, or both, and sends us on our way. But birth control and hormone therapy, they are not always the miracle solutions that they are touted to be. You're going to want to be sure to check out episodes 56 and 57 if you haven't listened to them. This is where I take a deep dive into why your blood work may be misleading you and how synthetic hormones may actually be masking some of your symptoms rather than healing them. I'll go ahead and link both of those podcasts in today's show notes. Now, while we're debating whether to get our prescriptions filled or go a more holistic route, we probably decide to take matters into our own hands. And we, turn to social media. We start clicking on all those menopause ads on our Facebook feed, and we start following hormone hashtags on Instagram, and we even start trying different diets and supplements or, whatever TikTok trend has gone viral for the week. And some of them work, sort of, and we actually start to feel a little better for a while, until we find ourselves wide awake at 2 a.m. consulting Dr. Google to diagnose what the heck is wrong with us now. Is it our hormones? Is it autoimmune? Are we dying? Maybe we just feel like we are. So we pop a couple of Benadryls because desperate times call for desperate antihistamines and hope we'll feel better tomorrow. By the way, if you're a Googler too, save yourself some time and check out episode 59 of the podcast for 5 of my favorite tips for Googling your hormonal symptoms. Finally, we hit a dead end on self-diagnosis. So we try. We try to convince ourselves it's not that bad. It's all in our head. Maybe, our symptoms will just go away like next week or next month. And we decide we're going to put our big girl panties on and just white knuckle it. Until our fatigue, our anxiety, our problems sleeping, our fill in the blank gets so bad that we say, screw it. I am over this, and we go all in. We go all in. We throw out all the sugar and gluten in our house. We join Orange Theory. We buy every supplement Amazon suggests that we add to cart. But nothing changes. In fact, we think we might even feel worse, if that's possible. So now we're really frustrated. We feel like we've tried every supplement, given up all of our favorite foods, spent more time working out than we spend with our kids, but nothing seems to really move the dial. Now, I take a deep dive into why your body may be stuck in survival mode in episodes 61 and 62 of the podcast. So be sure to check those episodes out if you want a better understanding of what's going on in your body and how you even got into this state. But what I want to tell you today is, first off, you're not alone. 85% of us experience hormone-related symptoms. But the majority of us report feeling unsupported and unsure of where to turn for real solutions. The reason why you and so many women in perimenopause, menopause, and even postmenopause are struggling is because you're looking for a solution when what you actually need is a system. I had to learn this the hard way. Balancing your hormones naturally isn't about one single fix. There's no magic pill. There's no perfect diet. There's no one-size-fits-all supplement that's going to do all the things. And that's because every woman's experience with perimenopause and menopause is unique. And it's influenced by a myriad of factors: genetics, lifestyle, diet, stress levels, body chemistry, and more. So what actually works? A strategic, step-by-step system that helps your body do what it was designed to do in the first place: heal and rebalance itself. And that's exactly what we're getting in today. My exact 3-step system to balance your hormones naturally for good. Are you ready? Okay, make sure you have something to write with because we're getting super, super tactical. Let's dive in. Beginning with step number 1, which is hormone detoxification. So before we begin to balance our hormones, we have to clear out all of the excess waste that's clogging up our drainage system. Think of it like cleaning out your closet before you go shopping. You wouldn't just keep stuffing new clothes in there without making room, right? Same thing with our hormones. Most of us are unintentionally overloading our detox pathways every day with hormone-disrupting chemicals in processed foods, pesticides, plastics, cookware, cleaning supplies, even our cosmetics. And when you add in poor digestion and a liver that's working overtime, suddenly we're dealing with a hormone gridlock that slows down every function in our body. And that's bad news for our body's natural detoxification process. Because when our liver, kidneys, and gut get backed up with a surplus of hormones, environmental toxins, and metabolic waste, they start recirculating inside our body. Kind of like that bad playlist that's stuck on repeat at the gym, which means our body can't flush out what it no longer needs. And then comes the brain fog and the fatigue and the mood swings and stubborn weight gain and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so how do we detoxify our hormones? Number 1, we have to support our liver by giving it the nutrients it needs to effectively break down and clear out excess hormones. We do this by loading our diet with foods rich in sulfur compounds and antioxidants that help the liver flush out used hormones. Think cruciferous veggies, citrus fruits, and leafy greens. Hydration is also key because without enough water, the liver can't efficiently filter out toxins, which slow down hormone metabolism and elimination. So drinking enough water throughout the day, and no, coffee doesn't count, is vital. Okay, number 2, we need to make sure that our gut is moving regularly so that our broken down hormones are actually exiting our body instead of getting reabsorbed. We do that by loading our diet with fiber-rich foods that actually bind to excess hormones and escort them out of our body, while making sure that our digestion is functioning properly and retaining the nutrients we need. It's also essential to load your diet with plenty of healthy fats like avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil. This not only supports bile production, which plays a key role in hormone elimination. But without these healthy fats, our body's entire elimination process slows down. And those excess hormones, well, they get recycled right back into circulation, continuing the cycle all over again. And number 3, we need to remove those sneaky sources of hormone-disrupting toxins. You and I are unknowingly consuming endocrine disruptors like BPA, phytolates, and PFAS chemicals from everyday items that leak into our food and water. From plastic food storage containers, wraps, baggies, and bottles, to nonstick cookware and even BPA-lined canned foods. We're also exposed to hundreds, if not thousands, of disruptive toxins in our everyday cleaning supplies, skincare, hair care, and even makeup. Not to mention that pumpkin-scented candle that fills our house with the most amazing smell and hormone-disrupting chemicals. But it doesn't stop there, because endocrine disruptors are also hiding in our food. Conventionally raised meat, dairy, and produce can be loaded with synthetic hormones, antibiotics, pesticides, and GMOs, all of which interfere with our natural hormone production. Meanwhile, artificial sweeteners and food additives don't just mess with our blood sugar, they also disrupt estrogen balance and gut health. So being able to identify these chemicals and remove them from our diet and our home are essential to the detoxification process. So now that we've cleared out our excess hormones and toxins with step 1, it's time to focus on how our body actually produces the hormones we need and how we can support that process naturally. I'm talking about hormone optimization. Because when our hormones are low, missing, or not converting properly, we feel it. Energy crashes, sluggish metabolism, disrupted sleep, mood swings, it all comes back to hormones not being produced or used efficiently. So, once our detox pathways are cleared, we can now focus on building up healthy hormone levels and making new hormones efficiently. Food is medicine for hormone balance. Let's be real. If hormone balance were as easy as just taking a pill, none of us would be here. But the truth is, our body doesn't just need hormones, it needs the right conditions to produce, regulate, and use them efficiently. Hormones aren't just something we can drop in and expect everything to work perfectly. They require a complex system of signals, building blocks, and conversion processes to function properly. So when we give our body the right nutrients, we support these natural mechanisms instead of overriding them with synthetic hormones. Every hormone has a blueprint, and our body follows a step-by-step process to produce, activate, and regulate hormones, with food providing the necessary building blocks. Food actually acts as medicine. It nourishes our body with the exact nutrients it needs to create and regulate hormones naturally. But unlike traditional medicine, which uses artificial hormones in the form of birth control or HRT to replace what's missing, food uses the proper nutrients to support our body's natural ability to produce and regulate its own hormones. The best part? This approach works with our body, not against it. Instead of overriding our body's natural processes with external hormones, we're actually providing the resources our body needs to restore balance naturally. So how does our body actually produce hormones? Every single steroid hormone, that would be estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, DHEA, every single one is made from cholesterol. And cholesterol comes from the healthy fats we eat. Without enough dietary fat, our body doesn't have the raw material it needs to make hormones efficiently. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, doesn't cholesterol cause heart disease? That's outdated science. Hormones need cholesterol, the good kind of cholesterol, just like a margarita needs tequila. Without it, you're just left with a sad lime-flavored juice. But production doesn't stop there because our body has to assemble these hormones and put them to use. So we also need protein for something called hormone synthesis. Now, once our hormones are made, protein helps build them into functional molecules. It helps create hormone receptors, and it transports hormones to where they're needed most. Without enough protein, hormone production slows down, hormone signaling weakens, and imbalances start to develop. And lastly, we also need vitamins and minerals to act as cofactors. These nutrients don't just support hormone production. They also help hormones convert into their active forms, regulate metabolism, and maintain balance. Without them, symptoms of hormone imbalance like fatigue, mood swings, and a sluggish metabolism all start to show up. So, there's a question about supplementation that I often get. If we're supplying our body with these essential building blocks, why do we need supplementation? Shouldn't food be enough? In a perfect world, yes. Food would provide all the nutrients we need. But modern life makes it a lot harder to get everything from our diet alone. For a few reasons. First, soil depletion and modern farming practices that have stripped many foods of their original nutrient content. Second, gut health and absorption issues, which can prevent us from fully utilizing the nutrients we do consume. And three, certain life stages like, perimenopause or menopause, actually increase the demand for specific nutrients that food alone may not supply in optimal amounts. That's why supplementation comes after dietary optimization. First, we get as many nutrients from whole foods as possible, and then we use supplements to fill in the gaps where needed. Now, we understand how our body creates and regulates hormones. So how do we fuel that process naturally? Number one, by prioritizing healthy dietary fats to provide the cholesterol we need for hormone production. Number two, by eating enough protein to support hormone synthesis and metabolism. Number three, by ensuring we're getting key vitamins and minerals to optimize hormone production and activation. And number four, by using supplements strategically to fill in nutrient gaps that diet alone may not cover. When we fuel our body properly, we don't just increase hormone production, we improve how hormones function too. And when hormones are balanced, symptoms of hormone imbalance start to fade. So now that we've optimized our hormone production, it's time for the final step. Are you ready? The final step is hormone recovery. This is where we make sure everything stays balanced for the long term. So we cleared out excess hormones in step one, hormone detoxification. We built them back up properly in step two, hormone optimization. And now the final step is making sure all of our hard work sticks. Because here's the reality. Hormone balance isn't a one and done process. It's something we have to maintain. Kind of like updating your phone with the latest iOS update. If you ignore it too long, eventually nothing starts to work anymore. That's why hormone recovery is the final step in this system. It's not just a quick fix for your hormones in the moment. It's about creating stability and consistency so they stay in balance for the long haul. So how does hormone recovery work? Everything we do in daily life sends a signal to our hormones. either a supportive signal that helps them function properly or a disruptive signal that causes imbalance. Because let's be real, hormones don't just act up out of nowhere. They're responding to everything we do, whether we realize it or not. What impacts hormone recovery the most? There's 5 factors. Number 1, chronic lifestyle stress that can drain our hormone reserves. If our stress isn't managed, our cortisol stays high, and that in turn depletes our progesterone, disrupts our estrogen, can even interfere with thyroid function. Second is exercise and movement. This affects every hormone in our body by either supporting or disrupting balance. The right amount and type of movement can help regulate insulin, cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, while overtraining or a lack of movement can throw them completely off. Number 3 is sleep, which regulates hormonal rhythms. If we skimp on sleep, that can throw off our cortisol, insulin, and melatonin, and that then impacts our estrogen, progesterone, and thyroid function. Number 4 is gut health, which is essential for hormone metabolism. Our gut plays a vital role in breaking down and eliminating used hormones. So when our digestion is off, hormones don't get excreted efficiently, and that leads to recirculation and imbalance. And lastly, blood sugar regulation, which helps prevent hormone swings. Keeping our glucose stable daily ensures we don't send stress signals to our body, and those stress signals won't then disrupt our estrogen, our progesterone, and our insulin levels. See how it's all interrelated? So how do we support hormone recovery? We support hormone recovery by following the following lifestyle pillars. Number 1, developing a daily stress management practice centered around activities like deep breathing, time in nature, meditation, or journaling that helps keep cortisol in check. And no, giving yourself a mani while refereeing a fight between your kids and FaceTiming your husband at the grocery store who has questions about your list does not count. Number 2, creating a movement routine that includes strength, cardio, and restorative exercise to ensure we stay active without spiking cortisol. Number 3, prioritizing deep restorative sleep and creating a sleep routine to maintain hormonal rhythms and metabolic function. Number 4, supporting gut health with probiotics, prebiotic-rich foods, and digestive enzymes, if needed, to help hormones metabolize and clear properly. Number 5, structuring meals in a way that keeps blood sugar stable, balancing macronutrients, eating in consistent intervals, and incorporating intermittent fasting, if appropriate for our hormone imbalance, to maintain hormone stability. When we take care of all of these core pillars consistently, our body no longer has to fight to stay in balance. It just naturally stays there. So there you go. My exact 3-step system to balance your hormones naturally. Step 1, detoxification, removes the junk. Step 2, optimization, builds back the right hormones. And step 3, recovery, ensures hormones stay balanced. Let's be honest. DIYing your way through hormone imbalance can be exhausting. The endless Googling, the trial and error, the feeling like maybe something is working, but then your symptoms start to creep back in and you're right back where you started. But balancing your hormones doesn't have to feel like a second job. If you're done with the guesswork and want to get your time and your life back, I would love for you to join me inside Master Your Midlife Hormones. This program is not another generic one-size-fits-all plan. It's a simple, sustainable, step-by-step system that's tailored to you and your unique hormone profile, so you can stop struggling and start feeling better. From customized food lists, macros, and supplements to personalized workouts and lifestyle strategies, Master Your Midlife Hormones does all the heavy lifting for you so you don't have to. So, if you're ready to stop guessing and start healing, apply now at bit.ly/fixmyhormonesnow or click the link in the show notes. Then join me back here next week for another episode of Are You There, Midlife? It's me, Monica. Until then, sending you out into the world, wishing you health, happiness, and fewer hot flashes.
Hey, friend. Can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the number one way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.